If you're having a really hard time getting on the other side of your struggles right now because your intellectual mind knows that there are no easy, immediately available solutions to your actual real life tangible problems, but also you can't afford to give up. There's no one else to pick up the pieces, and you don't really want to unalive yourself, but you are just so stuck and depressed and you don't know how to move forward, and you're sick of the self-help crap, but like there's nothing else to do, so you keep trying and you're just exhausted with all of the work that you have to do. If you're sick of all the crap that you have to do, this video is for you. Bear with me because I'm working through this myself in real time. Exactly what I just said. I have a special needs daughter and a 2-year-old and a whole lot of complex trauma in my past history that I'm actively resolving to let go of so I can embrace a new story. And astrologically, this is the timeline we're in, but the pressure is so intense and the experience of it is so very real, especially in these last days surrounding the Gemini full moon. So if you're listening, tuning in right here, right now, like know that I am actually here with you in the middle of it, and this is how we move forward together. Even though I can't be there with you in your house to give you a break from your kids, or rub your back while you cry, or sit there and hold space, or give you journal prompts to work through, or sit there together in silence. So we can physically do together, but we can energetically do together. We can. So here's what I'm doing. I'm trying to rephrase what I'm experiencing while passionately, compassionately, and intensely validating how painful and shitty it is that I'm in this position, okay? And also, I'm stepping into accountability instead of victimhood and self-wallowing. Listen, no judgment for whatever part of however many times you've been through this same cycle of this same situation, or if this is whatever. No judgment from me. We are human and we are doing the best we can, and so here's mine. I have to take care of 2 kids that are totally irrational, and it's not their fault. I get to witness how vulnerable it is to be a person that needs things and can't get them for themselves. I have to take care of those human beings and create as many solutions as humanly possible for them. That feels like pressure. That feels like weight. I get to have the emotional experience of seeing myself in them. I get to have the emotional experience of realizing, oh my God, I feel so broken and messed up and in need of healing and in need of all these things and like not capable because I never was allowed to be exactly where I'm at right now. A person who needed the love and the comfort and the resources coming in from outside. I never got to be that. I never got to be a baby or an infant or a child or a teenager or a young adult that was struggling and had someone love me enough to show me how to healthfully cope with that discomfort. That sucks. It sucks. It's shit. It's garbage. It hurts. I'm so sick of it. I'm tired of it. And also at the same time, I have to do something about it. But here's the rephrase. I have to, and that's pressure. But look it. I get to. I get to. And physically, I just started like stimming, okay? My knee is bouncing right now because I'm experiencing anxiousness. So I'm telling you out loud, I'm putting my hand on my heart. I'm putting my hand on my heart, and I'm going to just tune into that for a second. Because my body is remembering danger. when I feel pressure and I feel this stress, and I also feel this sickness in my chest, by the way, which is like a comorbidity symptom. If you've got illness, physical symptoms going on right now, they're like co-creating with your fear response amygdala in your brain that has all those other trapped feelings and memories in it, and it's creating this cocktail of chaos that feels like this swirling hurricane of pressure, and that feels very, very real. But what also feels real is if you put your hand on your heart and you slow down. Just put your hand on your heart. Just put it there and keep breathing. You can keep thinking, you can keep whatever, but like just try to start noticing the vibrations in your hand through your body, because that's very real also. And you get to feel that, but you have to choose it. This is going to go on for a while, this rambling I'm doing, because I'm really working through this in real time, and I'm going to make no apologies. I'm going to edit this very lightly and put it exactly like this, because I think it's high time that human beings heal literally out loud and share it with others. And I do feel safe enough in my body and confident enough in my heart and in my knowing that I'm here in this world, in this body, in this experience, to have experienced very real trauma and not really even know until later in life that that's what happened to me, and endure all the crap that I have to endure because of that, and also love myself and the ability to live so much that I do the necessary, very, very hard and unfair work that should have never been mine to do, to help myself learn how to just continue surviving and existing without disappearing in the middle of discomfort. So my rephrase is that I get to learn something that most people have never had the opportunity to learn, and have died sad, lonely, stressed, empty, unfulfilled, because they never learned how to comfort themselves in times of difficulty, in those times when there's nothing that you can do to action your way out of or fix this problem and you're suffering. To go away from ourselves in those moments, and here I am calling myself out, to escape by any means, distractions, drugs, drinking, sex, avoidance, disassociation, all of these things. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not your fault, Kelly. You didn't do those things because you're a bad person and you chose incorrectly and you're stupid and you should have known better. That doesn't even make any sense. Those mechanisms started happening when you were a small, small child that didn't even have words for emotions and coping mechanisms and tools. You didn't have the rational thought to try to escape. That was a part of your brain that was trying to help you stay safe. But it doesn't feel like that when now it's terrorizing you. So I have to sort that out, but I get to develop new relationships within myself. I get to learn about internal family systems and parts work. I get to learn new ways to identify the different parts of my brain and start understanding neuroscience, and that all of my little things that make me so fucked up and unlovable and wrong and bad, and I have challenges and all these dynamics, and I'm bad in relationships and I'm bad in this, is because my brain didn't actually make the functional neural connections that would support those types of behaviors being common or typical for me. Instead, I developed a whole different thing that hasn't really been mainstream studied and explained to people yet. And I've been living in a system all along that kind of plays on my trauma and the coping habits that I developed because of it, so that I can produce for this society and feel bad about myself when I don't, or when I don't participate in it correctly. And all the while my heart and soul are screaming at me that I'm not being seen, heard, that I don't feel safe, that I don't even feel like I'm here. And on top of that, if you're in a situation where you're a caregiver of 2 small children, or any small children, or anyone, an adult with dementia, a mother, a father, an addict that you love and you can't help, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on, because we're all in relationships and we all struggle with dynamics, because again, I get to learn something I have to learn because my life depends on it, and no one else seems to have done that yet. And I say that lightheartedly. I know I'm not the first human being in the world discovering these things, but I'm the first person that I know. And so, again, I have to do this for myself. And also, I get to experience living my purpose that I decided on, because I want to make this experience of healing my trauma worthwhile for me and for others. And I process by talking, partly because I learned to intellectualize emotions instead of experiencing them, and also partly because I'm a poet. And I stand at the scribe threshold, translating between worlds. And that's who I am. So I have to endure these traumas and these revelations, the will to live and the desire to give up at the same time, so that I can get to understand how kind of beautiful that is, and how kind of harmonious that is, right? Like a constant drum beat is like obnoxious if it's all on its own, but that same drum beat with some spoken word thrown on top, or like a string instrument or a wind instrument, now we're starting to get groovy. And then you add something else in there, and now we're talking about making music, right? And I'm not necessarily saying that we as a human species need to continue experiencing more and deeper, severe fucking trauma in order to harmonize. What I am suggesting is there are generations and generations of more than enough of it that we've yet to harmonize. But I am so glad I get to be part of the band. I'm so glad I get to be part of the women, of the mothers that have the audacity to struggle out loud and then see each other and then see our shared individual combined values and put them together to work for us. Not anyone else, for us. Because we are the ones that have to endure so we can get to be change makers. We have to know the struggle so we can know how to thrive. But first we have to learn how to survive. You don't go from struggle to thriving. You first have to you have to be able to juggle both. You have to be able to make peace with both, that they both exist in the world at the same time. I can't sit here being jealous and envious and hateful and spiteful with all of that in my heart of all of the people that I assume aren't struggling the way that I am, or that I see not struggling the way that I am. All of that hate and bitter and jealousy and envy just creates more trauma and fear and smallness and rapid paced trying to solve and get money and create solutions and do the thing to fix it in anger that just goes unresolved. But I have to feel all those things. It has to get bad enough It has to get big enough. I have to experience that in order to realize that I get to let go of that way if I want to. I get to start making very small, outwardly imperceptible moves to center myself as the most valuable thing in my world, and not just myself, not what I'm, because the self that my trauma informed me that I am is a producer. I produce the scenario or the situation for other people to become comfortable. It's my job to serve others so that they can be content. No, it's not. That was the old way, and I get to let that go. But if I'm going to let that go, I have to start creating something to attach to, something to form myself upon or around. And what better, more valuable, more reasonable, rational, and good feeling thing than myself. I matter. And for me, I have to go back in time to that version of myself that I know didn't ever do anything wrong. You know, like, because that version definitely exists and they never got what they deserved. And I can't argue against that. There's a small version of me that never got what they actually deserved, and they actually got really unfairly and badly treated instead. And that's not okay to continue serving as the foundation from where I make my choices now for me. Not okay in a judgmental way, in a discerning way. This isn't sufficient to build a foundation upon. It's like, you know, you go into an open field and you just start building a house without clearing any of the like shrubs or debris that are there, or like doing anything to make a level thing, but you think you're going to go build a square house on top of it. No, you're not. That square house, all that rigidity isn't it isn't congruent with the unlevel, under-nurtured, underdeveloped, untended ground beneath it. You know, so I have a little baby inside me that was never loved into growing up. I have an adult body whose nervous system, amygdala, you know, frontal lobe learned to function and create a personality around who do I have to be in the world in order to get safety, security, love, taken care of, my needs met, blah, blah, blah. How can I provide for myself? And if you're like me, you've become hyper-vigilant and overworking, you know, because you don't want to owe anyone anything. You don't want to be reliant on anything. It's terrifying to be dependent or indebted to anyone or anything. And that makes us weak and vulnerable because we have to be hyper-independent. And the one time that we're fallible, we beat ourselves mercilessly over it because we can't afford that, or so we think. This is all the brain, logic, nervous system, reactive personality that we've developed that we have to let go of, that we get to let go of. Isn't it fucking heavy? Isn't it so heavy? We get to let go of it. But again, it begins with small, imperceptible shifts within ourselves that say to us, I matter and I'm important. And it's with techniques that make ourselves so important that we want to. We tell our bodies, yes, please send me the messages, you know. Send me the nervous system thing. And guides, spirit, love, ancestors, all the women that came before me that are rallying for me to heal this. Please speak to me in whatever way you can and will to tell me through my body what I need. Because no one else has ever met my needs before, and I'm the only person that's come close. And I'm not doing a very good job because I'm not listening very well, because I didn't know there was anything in there to listen to. But now I do, and it's in my heart, and it's in my womb, but I have to put my hands there. I have to put my focus there. I have to put my breath there. Like I have to sit and be with myself, quietly, not listening to anyone else. In order to feel those things, I have to make that a priority first thing in the morning, multiple times throughout the day, one time in the evening. Even if it's when you're on the toilet, even if it's when you're in the shower, even if it's when you say, kids, mommy's going dark for a minute, and you just let them scream, do, play, whatever, because in 20 seconds you'll be able to put the fire out, or stop the bleeding, or call the ambulance. And I'm serious, and I hope it's not that serious, but I know how serious it can get when you close your eyes for 20 seconds, how much mayhem can happen. And also, if we don't help ourselves first, we cannot help them. If we don't regulate our nervous system, if we don't learn how to start holding ourselves in the discomfort and teaching ourselves how to survive through the discomfort, we won't be able to raise our children to survive the discomfort. Do you know what I mean? It only makes sense. I have to learn how to survive and soothe myself through the discomfort, or I will fail my children. I get to do right by my children like no one ever did right by me, because I am learning how to hold myself in the discomfort and not race out of it and not escape and not damn and yell at and anger and jealousy and envy everybody else who's not struggling like I am. I have to see all those feelings and be like, yep, that's a part of being human. Wow, that's uncomfortable to have all of this ugly and beautiful inside of me, and to want to be and express only the beautiful, but I can't help but only be the fucking ugly sometimes because I have nothing left to give. And all that's okay. All that's okay. All that's okay, because why? Because I'm human. And no one else has ever been my human self before and lived my human life before and then written the frickin' manual to show me how to do it all correctly before. So I'm going to give myself the grace of just letting myself off the hook and being a goddamn mess right now. And knowing that accepting myself as this mess is the perfect, absolute perfect foundation. There could not be a better foundation to build an amazingly secure sense of self that's capable of handling and doing and achieving amazing fucking things. It's the perfect foundation. I'm coming from a mess, which means that I'm going to forgive every piece of debris that I'm sweeping up. Every scrap of litter that's laying in that field that I want to build the house upon, I'm going to be like, that's curious. I wonder who threw that there and why. And I'm not going to spend too much time thinking about it or chastising those people. I'm just going to chalk it up to like a curious, cool thing that maybe eventually I'll find out the answers and maybe eventually I won't. And wow, humans do the weirdest thing. And geez, this field is beautiful. And man, that sun is hot. Glad I got a water bottle here. Oh man, I can't believe how proud I am of myself for building my house. Even though I have to pick up all the debris in this field first. Even though it's really fucking hard work, I'm enjoying the hard work. This is really nice. I get to rebuild my house from scratch. I have to rebuild my personality from scratch. I have to who am I? I have to figure out who I am. I get to figure out who I am? This is what your children are learning. You don't want them to feel pressure to figure out who they are like we did in school when they're like, what are you going to be when you grow up when you're 8 years old? And it starts that young. And then you have to like figure out where your skills are and what you're good at by being compared to other people. And then you just keep getting told what you're not good at. And you don't really get a whole lot of options to explore things that are like outside of the mainstream. So then you kind of like at a certain point resign to thinking that you're not really good at anything. And that sucks, doesn't it? So instead of doing that to ourselves again, maybe we could have let ourselves explore some new things and be bad at them and not judge ourselves or compare ourselves and just chalk it up to like, well, there's a whole lot of things in the world that I could spend my time doing or create a craft, or like I could be. But I'll probably have to try a whole lot of them, most likely, before I find one or a few that I really enjoy and want to stick with. Or maybe I find out that I just like bopping from thing to thing and I don't have to judge myself for that either. Maybe I want to change my whole entire personality, perspective, and outlook every few weeks, or my location. Let's allow ourselves, I have to find a lot of things out about myself, but I get to spend the time with myself exploring. I get to be both the person who experiences someone giving a damn what's interesting to them or not, and I get to witness how cool I am, how interesting I am, how neat it is that I'm this way. This is what I want to do for my children, so I have to do it for myself. No one ever did it for me, but I get to do it for myself. And that's really, really scary and sad and tender. And also, it feels like a commitment I've been longing to make to myself for my whole entire life. Hey, you, Kelly. Welcome to the world. This is a crazy-ass place to be. And I'm going to do my best to show you how you can find yourself peacefully harmonizing with all of this wild. And all the stuff that's going to try to get you to conform. And some of it will be good to conform to, because it's nice to know what to expect in friendships. It's nice to be able to expect decency from people. And also, when not to. When to run away screaming or actually walk peacefully, confidently, and calmly away, knowing that I'd rather be alone than be in these relationships or dynamics. I'd rather be all by myself in better company than be here. These are the things I wish I would have been given, shown. I wish I would have had someone provide this nurture and structure for me when I was a kid, or any time, the whole time I was growing up. And no one ever did. And they were doing the best they could. I can truthfully, honestly say that I know wholeheartedly that even though my parents failed me, they were doing the best that they could. And I know I'm capable of doing much better, not just for my kids, because I can't do it just for my kids. I can't do it for my kids unless I do it for myself. Like I said, if my perspective isn't, I love myself, I'm valuable in the world no matter what, I can't gift that to my children. They will not learn it from me. They won't. They won't learn it from my words because they'll see the contradiction in my actions. Kids are too smart for that. I'm too smart for that. I'm too smart for what I saw and what I still see now, which is why I had to share this message. And I'm so glad it's as long as it is, because if you listen and you hear this whole thing, I know that it will touch you, because I know that I was given the gift to feel things very deeply so that I could relate and help people feel seen and not alone. You're not alone. I see you even if I don't know your name and your face. I feel your heart. We are connected. We are. So listen, I'm healing. I'm shifting. I'm letting go. I have to, and I get to. And I know you have to too. So I hope you get to. I hope you understand what I mean. And that I love you. And I'm so proud of you for continuing to show up. And again, I just put my hand on my heart, because while I'm saying that and I'm directing that outward, my own self was like, hey, what about me too? And I'm learning to feel that in my body and not ignore it anymore, because I get to practice being important finally. So I hope you take this as an invitation to do the same. And that you stick around, because I'm going to continue sharing this adventure. And I want to feel the tidal wave that's moving through my body at a cellular level. And I want to see it in the world. So thank you for liking and commenting, because I want to hear you. I want to support you. I want to see your story. I want to know you. And I want to see what we can do when we change ourselves and change the world. See you next time.